300 BC. A wealthy merchant loses his entire cargo in a single night. His ship sinks with everything he owns. Most people in his position would have broken completely. Instead, he founded a philosophy that has guided emperors, slaves, and presidents for over 2,000 years. This isn't a story about luck. It's not about everything happening for a reason. It's the story of one principle, one single way of thinking that turned total disaster into a system still outperforming most modern self-help today. Zeno of Citium was a wealthy trader. On one voyage, his ship sank, and he lost everything. Not part of it, all of it. Instead of drowning in self-pity along with his cargo, he began studying philosophy in Athens. Within a few years, he built a system of thought the world would later call Stoicism. The core idea was simple, almost brutal. What happens to you is not your business. How you respond to it is the only thing that is. Modern people imagine a Stoic as an emotionless robot. That's wrong, and it destroys the entire point of the philosophy. Stoicism turned a former slave into a freethinker. Epictetus was once enslaved. His name literally means acquired. It taught a statesman named Seneca. It taught an emperor named Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men who ever lived. A slave, a politician, an emperor. The same system of thought worked for all three because it never depended on status, only on what happens inside your own head. Here's the central principle everything else is built on. Split the world into two categories: what you control and what you don't. Your reputation, not controlled by you. Other people's opinions, not controlled by you. The outcome of your effort, down to the last detail, not controlled by you. Your judgment, your response, your effort itself. That is your only territory and nothing else. Most people spend 90% of their energy fighting for things in the first list. A Stoic simply closes that list and gets to work on the second. But knowing this principle and living by it are two very different things. Stoics had a specific exercise to turn knowledge into habit. Try sleeping on the floor for one night. Take a cold shower when you're used to hot. Eat nothing but potatoes for a few days straight. It sounds like self-punishment, but the goal is different. Prove to yourself that the worst-case scenario you fear is actually survivable. Once you've survived discomfort on purpose, fear loses its grip over you. This isn't suffering for suffering's sake. It's arming your mind before reality forces suffering on you without warning. Here's where the modern world tricks you every single day. Ads, social media, status, all whispering that happiness is one purchase away, one follower count away. A Stoic asks the question differently. If your worth is tied to a car, to money, to likes, what happens the moment they're taken away? Cars break down, fortunes disappear, algorithms change overnight. Seneca wrote that learning to live with less frees up space for what actually matters. Not because poverty is a virtue, but because dependence on the external is a prison you built yourself. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. When he walked out and became president, everyone expected revenge. He had read Marcus Aurelius the entire time. Instead of revenge, he chose something else. The past was beyond his control. The only thing in his power was how to build the country forward. That is not weakness. That is the hardest form of strength that exists. You don't need to be an emperor or a prisoner to apply this today. Uploaded a video and the algorithm ignored it. That was never in your control to begin with. Your job ended the moment you hit publish. Judge yourself by the effort that belongs to you, not the outcome that never did. Stoicism was never about feeling nothing. It's about refusing to hand over your peace to things that never belonged to you. Ships sink. Plans fail. People disappoint. That was true 2,300 years ago, and it will always be true. The only question is what you do with the one thing that always remains yours. If this gave you even a little clarity today, there's more to think about on this channel. The rest is your choice.